All right, creators, we finally got the new trailer for Shadow Generations. Well, Sonic X Shadow Generations, but I'm just calling it Shadow Generations at this point because that's what I'm mostly excited for. We got new screenshots, we got new information, and we got the trailer showing off some new levels and newer abilities for Shadow that we've never seen before, at least not in the game context, such as like a chaos control, like slow down time, sort of time break ability, kind of like from Sonic and the Secret Rings. Hopefully this one will be more useful. It seems like it is because I remember Sonic and the Secret Rings, the time break was sort of not that useful because it just slowed everything down, including your gameplay, so I hope that's not the case here. But seeing Rail Canyon in HD, oh my god, and Kingdom Valley, it just looks so beautiful. And it's kind of weird because I've just been playing through Kingdom Valley and Sonic P06, like, so seeing it like redone in this like Unreal Engine-esque way, it looks beautiful. And it's really strange because it really shows the limitations of the third generation, like PS3, Xbox 360, because when you compare it to what's capable now with the graphics, this new Kingdom Valley, it looks real. You know, the rocks are not just this texture, they actually look like rocks. Some elements of it were given a little bit more vibrance, which I appreciate because Kingdom Valley is such a gray level. You know, there's like two colors, there's gray and green, and that is like the point of Kingdom Valley, but I like the little hints of other sort of colors and vibrance they added to Kingdom Valley. I think it looks gorgeous. I can't wait to see that ending section. I hope they do it where the water rises and it's like these two waves of water and you're going through this like underwater castle section. That last Mach speed section, I really hope they do that. I can't wait to see how that looks if they do end up doing it. It's weird because I've just been putting Rail Canyon in my animated series, and so I've been spending a lot of hours staring at the skybox, the custom skybox for the Gmod maps, and wow, looking at what they've done with the background, I love how they kept pretty much everything the same, but they just made it 3D. It looks so good. Like, I can't get over that. I think Bullet Station and Rail Canyon, pretty much the same thing, but Bullet Station's like more of Eggman's base part of Rail Canyon. But like, I really love the way it looks. I think it's one of the best looking, and I think this is just Sonic Heroes in general, but those levels are so beautiful. I mean, they look gorgeous. And so I don't know if we're gonna get another Heroes level or another 06 level. I think they're just gonna do one level per game, sort of like Generations. So it does make me wonder, are we gonna get multiple levels from Shadow the Hedgehog? Because Shadow the Hedgehog was such a big game and there were so many different levels and paths to take. So there's a lot more they could pull from with that game alone. And I wonder if we're gonna get 3 levels of just Shadow the Hedgehog levels and then 1 level for 06, 1 level for Heroes. Because Shadow was not in as many games as Sonic was. There are no classic levels for Shadow, obviously. I'm sure we're gonna get Radical Highway, but I'm sort of skeptical now because I think what we saw in the trailer was just Westopolis. I don't think it was Radical Highway, so I think Radical Highway, because they already did it in Generations for 3DS, I don't think they're gonna do it here again. I could be wrong about that because Radical Highway is so iconic. I mean, it's the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, why not? You know, seeing that done in full scale, it would be a mistake to miss out on that. It's Shadow's like most iconic level, I think, out of all of them. So if they don't put in Radical Highway, it would be strange, but it's possible. Westopolis is iconic as well, but it just doesn't have that, like, the red of the Golden Gate Bridge. You know, it doesn't have that very iconic look. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. It seems like a lot of these levels transition in the midst of the level because, like, Black Doom will come in and 1 minute you're in, like, Final Rush and the next minute you're in Westopolis. So I'm, like, kind of confused as to what is happening there, if it's, like, 2 levels in one. I don't know how I feel about that. I like things to be more separated when it comes to levels, especially with such different aesthetics, but you know, if it's to serve the story, I'm completely fine with it, of course. Okay, enough of me gushing about the levels. Shadow has wings now, and when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, because there was some screenshots that leaked prior to this reveal, so I did see Shadow with wings, and I was gonna wait to talk about it until we saw the trailer yesterday, and so I did. I think it's brilliant, because we did see in Black Doom's final form, he had wings, you know, that was the Devil Doom sort of look. So if Black Doom can do it, and Black Doom gave his DNA to Gerald Robotnik to put into his creation, which is Shadow, then I think Shadow would have a similar ability that's hidden within him. I'm sure he has more alien abilities that he just hasn't discovered that are like lying dormant within him. So it's cool after all these years we can get something like this. It looks incredible. I don't really know what more to say on it because I don't know how it's going to change the gameplay. Are we going to get to fly around the levels with these wings? I mean, I hope so. I mean, why would you give him wings and not let us fly around with it, you know? So I think if this becomes a new staple for Shadow, like where he just builds up enough chaos energy that he can just sprout these alien wings. I don't even know if that's what is powering that. Like if it's sort of in the games when you build up enough chaos energy, you can either do chaos control. If it's positive energy or negative energy, it's chaos blast. I don't know what this is. If it's like, maybe it's a mix of both energies, or maybe it's just negative chaos energy that's just overloads to a point, and then he uses that new ability that he's now aware of due to Black Doom sort of teaching him how to use it. But that's where it gets weird to me. It's like, if Black Doom is the villain, why would he be teaching Shadow new abilities? And the only thing I can think is he's trying to turn him over to his side again. But like, I don't even know if the aliens are still around. Are they extinct? Like, what's going on? Like, what is the story here? What is Black Doom's motivation? There was another screenshot that wasn't in the trailer, like this part of it wasn't in the trailer, where it shows the hub world, which is going to be 3D, and it is like this white world sort of look, same thing that we see in Generations, the base game, where it's just this empty white void, but there's these things in it. And this time it seems like it's sort of based off that final section in Generations where you're like putting all the Chaos Emeralds into the slots so you can unlock the Time Eater boss battle. It's kind of like that, but a whole 3D open environment of it. It's got a vibe, it's got an aesthetic, and I love it. I love this type of stuff, where it's like this other dimension, it's this empty void, you know, time doesn't exist. I love this stuff. So then we see like the Time Eater, like this purple crystallized energy from the Time Eater. And this is where I have some questions, because I really was wondering if they were going to put Mephiles in this. And, you know, seeing as how we have Kingdom Valley, they're not done referencing 06. It's very possible we get a Mephiles cameo and we see him in Shadow Generations. I don't know if it's just going to be a quick boss battle or if he's going to be the main villain and they're just hiding that fact, because that's what I would do, honestly. It's hard to say what they're doing with Mephiles or if they're doing anything with him at all, but I mean, something just doesn't add up with the story, because I don't know how Black Doom could be the main villain, because the main villain, really the overarching villain of the entire story of Generations, is the Time Eater. And I remember, I don't know if this is confirmed or if it's true, but apparently Sonic Team's original intention was to have the Time Eater be this echo or literally be Mephiles, right? So either it's like some leftover energy of Mephiles or it literally is Mephiles. I don't know what they were intending. But if that is the case, right? If they reveal the Time Eater to be this creation of Mephiles, or it is literally Mephiles, or like I said, some leftover energy that sort of escaped the story of Sonic 06, right? If that is the case, I don't think they would do that sort of a deep cut, but I could be wrong. I mean, there's a Terrio skin. There is a Terrio skin in this game. And if you don't know who Terrios is, it's the original name and prototype design for Shadow and Sonic Adventure 2. It's that famous concept art where they have like a bunch of different designs lined up, and it's like the closest to the final that they were going to use until they came up with Shadow's design and they scrapped Terrios. And that's why in Sonic Adventure 2, everyone thinks Sonic and Shadow look so much alike, because Terrios looks a lot more like Sonic than Shadow. So to see that skin come back is very weird. And honestly, when I first saw it pop up, I was like, this looks like a DeviantArt render. It doesn't even look like, it looks like Nabrak. If you guys don't know who that is, it's he does some of the best renders for Sonic, and he posts like all his renders on DeviantArt. It looks like one of his renders. It really does. I even wondered in the moment, did they like get his permission to use one of his renders or hire him? And it looks fantastic, by the way. I can't wait to use that. It also makes me wonder, like, they're gonna have to change the animations completely. It's not really a skin, it's like an entire mod. And I think this is where they said in an interview not too long ago that they wanted to compete with the modding community in their Sonic games moving forward. This is definitely that. Having a Sonic Adventure 1 skin and a Terrio skin is like, okay, these aren't really skins. You're changing the model and animations completely. Like, that is really big. That's a big thing. And I think, you know, if the Spider-Man games can do it and the Batman games can do it, I mean, the Sonic games should be able to do it as well. Just give us multiple different characters to play as, you know? This is what I've been asking for a long time. And so just to have skins skins that you can switch between. It doesn't have to be completely different characters. It's like, oh, a Tails skin for Shadow. That wouldn't really make too much sense, but like Terios, hey, that's creative. That's cool. I would like them to do the same for Sonic, you know, give us the Rider's outfit, give us the Sonic 06 shoes, you know, or the Sonic 06 model, or maybe just give us the 06 models for both of the characters. That would be cool. They did say that there's going to be an additional level and skin. So on top of the Terios skin, we're getting an additional level and an additional skin for Shadow. And that excites me too. It shows me that not only did they cook for the base game, but they have another level that they just had to include to really make this feel more complete. And I wonder what level that is. It could be a level from Forces, you know, it could be. I hope not, because I don't know, it wouldn't feel like Forces hasn't earned it. It hasn't been long enough. There's more levels to bring back that I would rather have than like another Sunset Heights or Casino Forest. I don't even know what the hell that level is called. I'd rather them do something more original. I'd rather them do something pulling from further back in their catalog. I would love Mystic Mansion from Sonic Heroes. I mean, I would love that. It fits Shadow's aesthetic. It's got that giant moon, you know what I mean? It would be great. Maybe that's already in the game. If Shadow Generations really is as long as Sonic Generations, well then the only question I have is like, what are those other levels? And they're still holding back so hard on showing us everything, you know, which is good. So the last thing I sort of want to touch on a little bit is, as I mentioned before, the hub world is 3D for Shadow, where it's 2D for Sonic and Classic Sonic. So that's kind of weird. I was sort of like wondering, like, what are they going to do for the hub world? Is it just going to be like the same type of hub world but different levels for Shadow, you know? But they're doing something completely different. I'm glad they're keeping Generations the same. I didn't want a 3D hub world for Generations. I think it works better for Shadow because I think for a remaster, you don't want to change things too much and turn it into a remake, you know? So that's fine that stays the same. That doesn't bother me. Which, by the way, people have been saying Generations doesn't really look like it's graphically improved. I disagree. It's subtle, but you can tell it looks better. The textures look better. The models look a little bit higher polygon. Even if the models are the same, the textures are just so much more high res. You can see the fur on Sonic. I mean, he looks so much better. But I noticed that the reflections in Speed Highway, you know, when Sonic's going down the building, the reflections look better. I don't even think they've released details like that, but I know that it improved. I can tell, like I can just see it. The reflections look so clear in that building and it just looks great. So the more they show this game, Shadow Generations specifically, the more I am hyped for it. I mean, especially considering the fact that they threw in this oddball edition of Gerald Robotnik's journal, which is going to add lore, which is crazy that after all these years, we're going to get more added lore to Gerald Robotnik and his process of creating Shadow and his time on the Ark and Maria and all this stuff, you know. It really does give me hope for the actual story of Shadow Generations and for that little animated short that they're working on for Shadow. I hope we get to see that soon as well, because I'll definitely have a lot to say on that. And if their plan is just to like release a bunch of DLC skins, whether they're paid or not, I don't give a shit, honestly. I will buy them. I hope we get more skins for this game and future games as well. I think Frontiers was a big missed opportunity with like having different skins. Like whatever the next big Sonic game is, you know, they should definitely do skins. That's all I'm going to say. And I think maybe this is their little test run for it. So I think that's all I wanted to say. I don't want this to be too long. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there and being patient for the next Sonic Animated Series episode, Sonic Cybernetics, the finale. I've been busting my ass working on this thing, so don't worry. It's come a long way from a few months ago. It's looking great. I would say I'm going to need more time for sure. It obviously did not release in April. I don't know why I thought April would be possible. It's so far from when it'll actually be released. I think this is going to be probably sometime in September or October this episode will release. It did end up taking almost this entire year, but trust me, it'll be worth it. I need to really take my time and make sure this can be the best episode possible and include everything I want to include and not have to cut as many corners as I usually do. So I really appreciate you guys. Become a creator. We have all types of conversations about all different types of Sonic creations. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video, creators. Peace out.